We are live with Good Fam. We are here. Progressive martial artists. We are live. And I am hyped about Nina Turner. This is the Nina Turner hype stream. This is what we're going to do. We're going to play some clips from Nina because this is the big deal right here. We need this victory so bad. So bad. But first things first. I do apologize. I didn't do a stream yesterday. We was doing some repairs in my home around that time. I usually try to do Monday through Friday, but we here today. Boy, RJ, what's up, bro?
Hold on.
Can you hear us? Can you hear me, RJ?
Okay.
How you guys doing? See a few people coming in now. Anyway, I don't know if you saw the title. Can you hear me, RJ? He'll be back.
Okay, I'm back.
All right, I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect.
Socialist Sienna in the house. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing pretty well. We gotta talk about Nina Turner. It's official. She already in the media.
Can you talk about
I saw her
why
in
you
Democracy
have
Now!
thrown
It's
your
not too
hat
long
in the
ago.
ring? Can you talk about?
Yeah, Nina is really the only leftist who doesn't get hate from any part of the left spectrum.
It's funny, yeah. Nina Turner about to. This is the closest we're gonna come to like combining like the Bernie Sanders wing, Tulsi wing. I ain't even seen a lot of Yang people that like her. A lot of
Even
people.
Warren people.
Charlie said, "I don't think I'm done with ALC." People getting mad at ALC. People getting mad at her. We just talk about that too. I got a good show for y'all today. Cause I don't make up for the fact that I wasn't here yesterday, just cause we had to fix our heat. Our heat was broken. It was like freezing in here, 57 degrees. I had to get that fixed, so I couldn't go live yesterday. But you guys know I'm here usually 3 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday, and I'm want to plan a decent panel for the Black Rose Brigade as well. OD Gaming, what's up? What's up? I see the familiar faces here. All my friends. So you guys see the title of the stream, right? We hyping up Nina Turner. That's what we're gonna do. I want to pull this up. I only watched this once. I want to check it out again. This Nina Turner on Democracy Now!
Why
We
you
play
have
this while we wait
thrown
for
your
more people
hat
to
in
come
the
in
ring?
here.
Well, this moment calls for that. I mean, this is my home. I am a daughter of Cleveland. I've lived in the 11th Congressional District, served in this district as a councilwoman, as a state senator, as you have laid out. I was the Democratic nominee for Secretary of State in 2014, fighting against one of the worst secretaries of state in this country. All that I've done heretofore has been because of my love for my community and my love for this nation to stand up and make sure that people understand that they deserve better than what they have been getting. I definitely congratulate Congresswoman Marsha Fudge for being tapped for the Secretary of HUD position. There has not been a black woman, I believe, in that position in over 40 years, and the greater Cleveland area has a lot to be proud of. The state of Ohio has a lot to be proud of. But I'm running in service of the people, and we need more, not just bold voices, but people who will take action and will be fearless when it comes to standing up for what is just, for what is right, and for what is good. So in your title, Amy and Tawan, good morning, Democracy Now! We need this type of leadership.
So Nina Turner is a Cory Bush Democrat, right? Like this is the kind of black leftist leadership that we need in Congress right now. And I already see some people in the chat talking about AOC. Like I already got my segment on that. We discuss the tweet she just put out and my response, and I can get into it a little more detail. But now that there seems to be a very healthy discussion, in my opinion, going on, I mean, I think it's healthy. The people who think this is a bad discussion going on right now, you gotta be cautious of those people. What are your thoughts of the conflict going on the left right now? I gave my take on it a little bit last on Monday, but what do you think about it, RJ?
I think it's very concerning, because the whole point, and even Kyle Kalinske mentioned before, that going into the Democratic Party is supposed to be like a ransack, something like you're supposed to overtake the party. You're not supposed to do incrementalism. And so, like, I had like a little altercation with Tim Black. We had a healthy conversation about,
Yeah.
the strategy going on. I tried to explain to him that, yeah, Medicare for All is actually a part of the black agenda, because apparently a lot of black leftists believe that a lot of the black agenda is what we should fight for, progressives. They don't hear a lot of white progressives talk about it even more. But I think there's a big discrepancy too between universal programs and actual black agenda being introduced in the progressive community right now. And
We
those
don't.
are
There's not
conversations
a
I've had.
my reason why I think Nina Turner is going to be a game changer. There's not enough people challenging the black misleadership that I see clearly in our daily in the Democratic Party. I mean, we're gonna have about the COVID-19 relief bill they coming out now in the Senate, and when you see the failures of the Democratic Party and how where they left black Americans off right now, where racial inequality is high as it's been since the civil rights era. I mean, that's the result of their work. Meanwhile, Barack Obama still pretend that he's a celebrity. I mean, he's gonna annoy us for decades to come. At this point, every day he's giving some interviews, just talking about some bullshit, and then he always come out to try and criticize our movements. So to have someone like Nina, and we are starting to see the tides change on this, because we saw Barack Obama come out against defund the police, and usually one of my biggest criticism I had of Bernie Sanders and AOC in the squad is, and I understand where they came from, don't get me wrong, because they had to be weak on Obama because they had to win over the liberals who still love Obama, which is a very large coalition. It's a very, very large coalition, unfortunately. But now we're starting to see that people are actually able to speak out against Obama. And I see my people in the chat already saying, fuck Obama, we can't stand Obama. Yeah, he pretends he's a celebrity. Yeah, all my homies don't like Obama. We already know. But my goal is I want Obama to reach the level that he should have been at, that George Bush was at after he left the presidency. Out of the spotlight completely. Like, not even able to show your voice other than a family trip or something just to be nice. But he shouldn't be the kind of celebrity that we prop him up. And my frustration is the black leadership class, the people with a lot of influence and authority in our culture as well, like the LeBron James, for example. So, like, those people, they love Barack Obama. The only thing they do is prop up his legacy, and they prop up what he actually stands for. Because at the end of the day, he's the manager of the oligarchy before he's an activist for our community. Do you think I'm wrong on that? What do you think, RJ?
Yeah, I think you're pretty much accurate. The problem in the left community really is that we shit on liberals for their celebrity status politicians. Yeah, we do the exact same goddamn thing with
Yeah.
AOC. Like, we make one critical, accurate argument, and like people are defending her at all costs, slandering you, and they never actually entertain the argument you're making. They just slander your character. Like, even
Right.
Jimmy is knowing that firsthand. And so back to the Obama thing and how it kind of correlates with Nina Turner, I think for the foreseeable future, we'll have to benefit from Nina Turner's celebrity status temporarily to prevent any challenger in her district so she wouldn't have to run against anyone. That way it's an easier path to go against a Republican in Ohio.
I need to do some more research on the people that Nina Turner's running against, but I like what I'm seeing early on in the progressive movement. I want to pull this up so you guys can see, because they're going all in on this election as well. I'm very glad. All the heavy hitters of the progressive leadership throwing their weight behind Nina Turner. You got Ro Khanna, Cori Bush, Keith Ellison. So this is great. So we're seeing. This is why I'm excited.
AOC hasn't endorsed yet.
If she doesn't endorse, holy shit, there would be hell to pay, because she already left Cori Bush hanging the second time. I envy me in the house. What's up? How you doing? What you doing? So I'm glad. I want to see the results of our powerful movement throwing our weight behind Nina Turner, because I said it before. I think Nina Turner is in a position where she can ride the wave from Bernie support from 2020. But Bernie Sanders became as popular of a politician as he was because the merits of his ideas and the timing in which they came, and the fact that he had Hillary Clinton as opposition helped as well. He was very, very good at spreading the message of Medicare for all. But I don't know if anyone can really say Bernie Sanders is like a charismatic guy. You know what I mean? Like I guess he has his own charm in a way. But there's no doubt that he became as popular as he was just because the country was hungry for a progressive leader like him. But Nina, I think she has a wow factor that Bernie didn't have. I heard her speak when I was in South Carolina. And it's a different level of energy when she gives a speech live. And there was a lot of that identity politics thing that was hurting Bernie Sanders. But when you hear Nina Turner come and speak, and she has this cadence of a black pastor speaking truth to power, I think that's to be a wow factor. And do you guys have any information about like her district? Because I don't know what
she's in Ohio's 11th.
Yeah, I know it's 11th district. Maybe we should look at like demographics and stuff. But even if it's not heavily black, I think she can capture a lot of people because we see the popularity of the progressive policies, and if she can come out the bat with the midst of this pandemic, that should help her. With her saying that we should demand we have healthcare as a human right during this pandemic, I think she will serve her greatly to speak a lot about the stimulus checks as well. Now she's gonna be a sledgehammer in the House to negotiate on that instead of being weak like Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, and her district is 88 to 12 Democrat versus Republican, and that's how Marcia Fudge was able to stay there for a while. So
Yeah.
it's a heavily blue district, which is a good thing. But the problem is when you have a heavily blue district, you're gonna have another big blue neoliberal challenger. So she really has to. It's really important right now for progressive to take a lesson from the Bernie loss and consolidate quickly. Everybody just get behind Nina. I'm sorry. if you're
That's
young
why I'm
and
glad
you
I've
know
seen this out of this article. That's a good point.
Yeah, so it's important right now to consolidate. Hey, everybody get the fuck out the way. This is the OG. We're not playing games this time. So let's just get behind her.
Yeah,
and,
no
you know.
bullshitting around with Elizabeth Warren like some stupid leftist did. Ryan Mills said Medicare for all is a compromise. We need fully socialized medicine. That's the point that we're making. I mean, we have the studies on our side. Mr. Joe Biden said he's pro-science. Meanwhile, we got the studies that are constantly coming out and showing that Medicare for all will save 70,000 lives, 68,000 lives, save money, boost jobs, boost wages. So it's also it is the compromise position. And when I see Democrats like John Ossoff say that healthcare is a human right, but you don't back Medicare for all, to me that's an insult to my intelligence. That's an insult to political dialogue, and it actually kind of pisses me off because you know who else who say that, who don't believe in Medicare, that healthcare is a human right. They all adopted that talking point, but they don't support Medicare for all, and that actually helping them. It's a good political move because people are ranking healthcare as their most important policy goal. Like I saw that earlier today. Let me show that because that tweet came out, and when I saw that, I'm like, this is just a more example of how if you had someone who actually ran on the economy, people who actually gave a damn, they could have won. They could have won the Senate. They could have gained House seats instead of losing them, right?
Yeah.
My friend Forgiven she in the chat as well. John Ossoff is a joke. Black cat mom. What's up? Kind of library in the house. But am I right though, RJ? I mean, because if you don't support Medicare for all, I can't trust you on almost any other issue because it's such a slam dunk.
I'm more of an issue by this. So like I do agree with your assessment that if you don't support Medicare for all, I'll be extremely skeptic. But I think for a leftist coalition to keep going forward, you know, you're not going to get everyone for a single issue. It's important to really get people who may disagree with you 90% of the time, but if 10% of the time they can agree with you on a leftist policy position, I think that's the best path to move forward. But like you said, currently Medicare for all is the big kahuna, so we should do everything in our power to make sure that's enacted.
Right. And I'm already hearing rumors of like Joe Biden and Democratic Party already walking back on the public option. And this is what happened when you don't go hard on the first time. The argument for Medicare for all is so strong, I feel like there's literally no reason to go hard on it on the first try.
Cool.
And then you have him fighting against, I mean, he's supportive of John Police budget, supportive of ICE. And I understand strategic voting, and I don't get mad at anyone who is in Georgia who want to vote for the guy. I vote against my Republican senators. But even my position for day one has always been, even if I was going to vote for you, I'm still going to shit on you for not having the right policy position, because our position as activists is we're supposed to drive up support for these issues, and we got to drive up support by these issues by letting them know that standing against Medicare for all, standing against healthcare, standing against abolishing ICE, that's unacceptable for my position. So even like if I'm in Georgia, I'm like, man, I have a very tough decision to make in Georgia, right? But even if I was gonna vote for him, there would still be an issue I would pressure him on. Like, I'm not gonna let you say you believe healthcare is a human right when you don't support Medicare for all. Like, we still gotta push him at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that assessment. Just to before I get to what you currently said, previously Joe Biden actually disavowed single payer before. He's now for this Medicaid expansion, which is basically this Biden care he's been talking about. That's what he's for. And about these Democrats from Georgia, the problem with young senators is, and it's been historical throughout the country, they go along with the establishment when they first get in. So whoever the power players are in the Senate, or whoever the president is, the younger the senator, they're going to align with them because they want to make sure that they stay in the game.
Yeah. Do you guys agree? Like, I want to get the this is the question I'll pose to everyone in the chat, because I'm sorry I'm running behind in the chat. You guys are contributing great comments so far. If you're enjoying this, I have great news, because I'm at 88 subscribers last time I checked, and my goal is to hit 100 before the end of the month. So we're on a good pace. We start out with 22, but let's smash that goal, right? So if you're watching and enjoying the stream so far, subscribe on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, follow. Also have a PayPal as well. Any small donation will help. But anyway, I asked you guys that question, like, will you vote for someone like John Ossoff if he was in your state? Like, if you're in the situation in Georgia, it's a good question. It's a good question, right? Because I voted against my Republican senators all the time. My thing is, I'll still pressure them. I'll still attack them. And then if they win, I definitely not gonna support them for re-election, because I'd rather try again. Like, that's always been my position. It depends, case by case. Because when Claire McCaskill was my senator, I didn't vote for her when she got in. I don't remember if I wasn't old enough or if I just didn't choose to vote. Because she was one of the people in Missouri who was fighting against the Show Me Cannabis movement. And the Show Me Cannabis movement made a lot of ground in Missouri. We got the medical marijuana just passed a ballot initiative here. But she was an opponent and someone who fought against us on the local level for a long time. So once again, one of my critics always say, how are you going to oppose Democrats? You're not being serious about politics. I'm like, no, politics is all local. I oppose Democrats because I literally witness Democrats constantly get in my way all the time in my local political organizing. That's one thing she did in Kansas City. She was strongly against marijuana legalization. So it's like, fuck her. I ain't going to help her win. If she lose, I'd rather rally behind someone else to take out Josh Hawley and Roy Moore and other Republican senators. So, but what's your position on that, RJ?
I actually have to agree. I know I have like my hard stance of like F the Democrats, but you have to be strategic. I mean, for me, I'm even luckier than some people because my senator is, let me see, I have Debbie Dingell and I have Gary Peters. So my congresswoman is, Debbie Dingell is my congresswoman, but my senators are Gary Peters and Debbie Stabenow. So I'm a little bit lucky in the sense that Michigan is like a populist economic message that's transcendent throughout the state, regardless of Republican or Democrat. So geographical politics does play a sense. So I'm a little bit luckier. But if you're in one of those states where like you kind of have to vote Democrat, if like you're well, God, I sound like a shit lib, but if you're in one of those states where it
To
makes
me-
it difficult, yeah, go ahead.
To me, it's not a black and white issue. A black and white issue. I've
Yeah.
always been consistent on this. I'm not gonna vote for a war criminal. Like if I have a war criminal senator, I don't care if he's a Democrat or he's not a Democrat, I'm not gonna vote for him. If I had Joe Biden and he was in the Democratic, if he was in the Senate race in Missouri, I wouldn't vote for him. If you're a new up and coming guy and you can be okay on a few issues, going against a fascist Republican. Once again, I don't put too much stock in electoral politics like that, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll vote for him to beat him, but I'll be his enemy when he's in office. And if he acts in a horrific way and he becomes a war criminal, I will not gonna vote for him for re-election because I want to keep the cycle moving. I'm not one of the people that once again put too much stock in electoral politics, and I'm not one of the people that allow Republican fear-monger me about Republicans when they essentially the same on a lot of the larger important issues. So I'd rather a neoliberal take a nail so we can have a chance to win that primary and go against the Republican than having someone like Dianne Feinstein in a seat for 30 years. Like that's the worst case scenario. Like you can't get anything worse than like we see the result in our country right now. The country is in the state we are in right now because people like Joe Manchin and Dianne Feinstein, people believe in this bullshit that we got to support Republican Democrats because the bill later when I do my segment on the COVID-19 relief, that's Joe Manchin back in that. And you want to pretend that I should be supportive of him in any capacity? Hell no. But once again, people might attack us from the left from this, but I don't mind people attacking me from the left. That I don't mind that at all. I open that. But my position always been, if you just someone who doesn't, you're not like openly corrupt in the beginning. If you're not a war criminal, why shouldn't I like at least give you a chance just so you can beat the fascists? And then once you in and you fuck up, like if you vote for a war, I'm like, okay, I'm going for you then. That's not unreasonable, right? And I understand what people might attack me for. Like, no, never vote for a Democrat. No, I hear you. I hear you, bro. I hear you. Some issues, I think it's important enough to defeat the Republican fascists on the state and local level. I mean, when you talk about the national level and you trying to sell Hillary Clinton to me, you're not selling me that. You're not selling like she as bad as it gets, and that's what the debate back to AOC is talking about, where people are saying, "I'll give you the floor." I finish my thought. Go ahead, RJ.
Yeah. I have a nuanced position on this. So for city level, always vote for third party, DSA, Green Party, any leftist organization. All right. For state level, vote for any DSA, Green Party backed Democrat that's primarying corporate Democrats. But for federal level, in terms of federal level, it's kind of the same process. But for a president, you know, there's really two choices. But the key is to make sure you milk the Democrat and get as much policy as you can before you vote for him. Because after you do, you lose all your leverage. And so that's kind of the picture. City level, third party, Greens, DSA back. State level, that means they're your state senators, same thing. Federal level, same thing. But when you get into president and some of those key positions like United States senators and congresswomen, it's important to back grassroots Green Party backed candidates that you can primary corporate Democrats. And so that's kind of the best strategy we have to do moving forward.
That's why I never understood the people who stop pressuring from the left. I would never stop pressuring from the left. Like if we ever get a position where we have a squad take over Congress, I would start pressuring them from the left, right?
Yeah.
Stop. Go ahead.
I think the problem too right now with progressives is that in the House, you know, progressives like AOC, and it's warranted, you only have 1 year to pass legislation, and then you have a year to get reelected. So there's always this pumping of the brakes. So even if you do have a situation now where, you know, you want to get some big stuff passed, you got to worry about, I don't want to ruffle the feathers when I come in on my new term. Or if it's later in your term, I got to worry about getting reelected. And then for the United States Senate, you know, if you have a corporate Democrat, and by the way, it's always a corporate Democrat because Senate is the most powerful position. If you're a leftist and you have to try to vote for a Democrat, they can just say, hey, thanks for your vote, but I'm a United States Senator. I have 6 years. I can wait it out.
Yeah.
And then by the time your little movement grows legs, it can grow on a vine and die, and I can still get reelected. So that's the problem we have as progressives and leftists is that in the House, we have it's easier to win because it's 2 years, so they can't wait us out. But the problem is that there's no legislation that can be done because you have a 1-year lifespan in terms of passing legislation. But in the Senate, they can wait it out because it's so long because they have 6 years. So they can ignore us on one hand, okay, and stall us on the other. So that's the biggest problem we have. So that's why we have to use pressure on politicians who even think like us to enact our policies.
Yeah, I see everyone talking about. Seven had a good comment talking about the NHS is government-run healthcare, Medicare for all is government-paid healthcare, not run. And you actually hear like Democrats constantly gaslight and fearmonger about that. So my question I want to propose to people like, what your take whenever you guys hear liberals say, "Oh, we don't want socialized government medicine when referring to Medicare for all." I just want people to realize that they're lying to you as well. Like they use right-wing Republican talking points as well. Hey, Social Sienna, how you doing? My homie, back in the chat. So that the liberals are idiots and don't listen. Yeah, they are deeply unserious people. Let me catch up with some of these chats. I'm sorry I've been missing some of these. Yeah, this pretty much manufacturing consent. That's pretty much our whole entire media. Especially with the weakness on Pelosi. And like they have literally people on CNN that run defense from her all the time. Yeah, the Nina Turner campaign, we need this victory. Like that victory is gonna be so huge for us. Like I would love to if I could, I'll go down there for at least a week to see if I can to canvass. We see. I feel like if anything, if there's gonna be any race we had to invest in, that's probably one that I would think is important to invest in because we need Nina Turner to get this win because if she loses this race, it actually would hurt her coming up into the presidential race. I would think. So we gotta think long term about this as well, and especially with the House being as small as it is right now, having just that extra voice would be important. IMB said, does anyone have any socialist or communist articles to read? Just stop. You want to be informed about manufacturing consent, wars policy, just information. I always get my I got a ton of different sources. I usually
Aaron Matei is pretty good.
Yeah, Aaron Matei is pretty good. Like the Gray Zone in general is pretty good source to follow. Like I said, I just get my information from a lot of different places, whether it be Reddit, Twitter. Like I'll read like corporate news just to get their point of view. Like it's good to know what the enemy is saying. Like you gotta be able to know what they're talking about. And I can only stomach just a little bit of it, but I think it's still important to have that. Nina is a real one. Senate run after 2022. Yeah, we need more progressive senators too. That's the thing. We need more progressive senators. I want to see Ro Khanna run for the California Senate. I would love to see him get that position. Even though Ro Khanna has some politics that piss me off sometimes. His politics piss me off, but he got good policy, so I can't hate on him at the end of the day. I guess we can get into our next story coming up here. Try to make sure I get the rest of these. Rest of the comments. I already missed a few of them. Let's talk about the poll I saw. Let me find that then. We can do that. Cause let's talk about the LC tweet. Cause obviously this is gonna be the next topic of dialogue. Like Jimmy Dore, he been recently because he is not taking no shit on this issue. He is not taking no shit.
Amazing.
Oh yeah, I know. Sorry, RJ. Go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna say, like he and David Sirota have been having a pretty entertaining Twitter beef, and for me, I'm for like sparring as long as we don't kill each other. Iron sharpens iron, so you only get tougher. And so I think the beef between David Sirota and Jimmy Dore is basically saying, hey, you know, it's all about grabbing power. You can't enact our policies as they are if you don't grab power. And so the difference between Jimmy and David is Jimmy is a revolutionary anti-establishment leftist, and David Sirota is really an institutional leftist, you know, an institutional incremental leftist. So there's the two different sparring types.
Right. And my position was, I don't understand people who, like Jimmy Dore, he spearheaded the conversation, but the merits of the conversation itself was important to have. And I think this conversation was important to have because what I saw in the Obama years was an opposition to neoliberalism that wasn't organized. So it's good that we're having this conversation now so we can somewhat get organized and figure out a way to properly oppose Joe Biden. And my thing is, I broke down this before. I believe there's two sections of the left. And I'm not trying to break up the left. It's just a kind of an empirical fact that I saw just paying attention. There's the kind of left that has healthcare. They're pretty comfortable. They have a nice paying job. They literally in upper middle class. We see this a lot. The Elizabeth Warren people who are just supporters, and even on the left, you see people that come from that same class status, where they are more likely to want to play the long game, when they more likely are more bought into electoral politics. These people are kind of frustrating because these are the people that will say they were down for revolution, but we still can't give up on electoral politics. And they always try to talk down on people who divested in electoral politics as well. So I get very tired because that group, they tend to tone police the group that is disenfranchised. Like, these are the people who became leftists, not because we read theory or not because we went to college and learned who Karl Marx was. We became leftists because this is the life we lived. Because, like, bro, I literally know people who was victimized by the crime bill. We know people who lost their homes in the financial crisis. Like, for example, like a lot of people in the Latino community know people who was harmed by ICE. We know people who immigrated, who were refugees because of U.S. imperialism. Like, I see that, like, there's levels. I always say there's I won't get into the game of comparing oppression, but you see that people that come from very hard background, their level of leftism is different than the level of leftism you see out like TYT, for example. Like, there's a sense of urgency that doesn't exist. So when we talking about calling for a general strike, when I was saying months ago that we should do that, people was like, "What? That's crazy. How can you call for a general strike? That's hard to do. That's hard to do." I'm like, bro, the civil rights movement was hard to do. Like, we were going through a crazy time, and we were seeing a stripping of consumer rights, and we are seeing what I like to call a poor people's purge going on right now. Because that's essentially what it is. They're purging poor people with the policy they're pushing right now. Now I'm specifically talking about the COVID relief package now. But one faction on the left saying we've got to do something about this right now. We must demand we have Medicare for all for a vote right now. And then there's the other faction who, for some reason, they care more about the careers of the squad. They care more of the getting along with the Democratic Party and just stopping the Republican. That seems like all they care about at the end of the day. It seems like they're more Democrats instead of people who actually advocating for these positions. Because the difference between the first group I laid out, the people who suffer from ICE, because I have a story I'm going to do on that earlier, because you guys know that there's activists in New Jersey that are on hunger strike because of ICE right now. Because ICE, their conditions are so bad, people are held up in ICE. They are hunger striking because they're scared they're going to get COVID. And they're not going to get proper treatment. So when you are a political party that's talking about keeping that organization, how are we supposed to consider you to be our allies? Like, you're probably same power structure that leads to oppression that Republicans are. So that's why I come in. I'm like, okay, I'm not seeing Biden. I'm not seeing these people as left to evil because they push these forces of oppression instead of the people who are just going along with it. You know what I mean? Do you agree with that assessment, RJ?
I mean, I do, and I want to add on to what you said. I think there's a part you're missing is that the left right now, there's a big divide between incrementalist leftists and revolutionary
Yeah, that's
leftists.
a good point. Good point. Yep.
And so the revolutionary ones are saying, hey, we can get all your procedural incremental bullshit when we actually grab power and drive this bus. But we have to ransack it and take it. You know, we can't bribe a couple of politicians at a time because they'll take our money and flip us off. And so what revolutionary lefters are saying is getting Medicare for all, like Jimmy is saying, is it clearly shows who's for you and not against you. Politico put out an article earlier this year saying, hey, if you're a corporate Democrat, mainline Dem, all you got to do is talk to AOC, vote with her on some policies, and you can avoid a primary challenger. And that's what Jimmy Dore is saying, hey, your method isn't working anymore. All those 118 co-sponsors, they're doing it to save their own ass in their political careers. So when it's actually time to actually vote on what they've been advocating for, they're going to abandon it quick and easy. So that's the dilemma.
Exactly, and I want to go to this story. I got to pull it up right now because I want to discuss on what I can call as nothing other than like a complete purge of poor people going on right now, and we are seeing a rollback of consumer rights, the likes we have never seen before. Before I dive into, let's see where we are in the chats here. What I missed here. I see Meganator's in the house. Thanks. I'm glad that Meg will join us on stream. One of my good friends. I want to have you. You're gonna be one of the first people I have on my stream because I announced a new program last week where I want to have some of my subscribers come on the show for a little bit. It'd be another way to drive up my number. Cause once again, my goal is to hit 100 subscribers on Twitch, so I want to do that. So, Meganator, you better not ghost me. You better not ghost me. We talked about that earlier before. The problem is voting for Medicare for all right now is an easy vote because it won't go anywhere in the Senate. My thing is, I think we need ammo for down ballot progressive primary challengers to use, and nothing better than Medicare for all. There's nothing that would be better for us to attack the establishment by than this Medicare for all vote. You have 72% of the country that supports Medicare for all. So, in the middle of the pandemic, we even flip people who will be more sympathetic to the Democratic Party usually just by having this vote, because they will see that there are a large amount of Democrats who don't support healthcare as a human right, because some people, they say they support healthcare as a human right, but people automatically assume they talk about Medicare for all for some reason. The exit polls showed this. Like, people who supported Medicare for all was voting for Joe Biden over Bernie Sanders. Like people are not, like, people assume, like, we're in politics, we follow politics closely, but people assume that everyone has the same, like, locked on level of understanding as we do. And when you have a big floor vote like that, they give you a chance to, once again, you got to think about politics. You got to understand how politics is played, and people who are not thinking about it on the long term. And when you have a House floor vote like that, that's a chance for us to spread our ideas more. Because as a progressive movement, I've talked about this all the time. The civil rights movement in the cities, they wasn't popular at first. Like, people assume these popular movements, they just spring up out of nowhere. They don't spring up out of nowhere. They spring up through awareness. Like, it sounds cheesy, but when you see, like, Bernie Sanders getting Senate floor speeches, that's not the main thing that counts. We shouldn't just give him applause for that. But actually, that does move the needle, because that you're sending a message out to the consciousness. Like, the vast majority of American people support COVID-19 relief bills. I think the number is around 70% or so, 70 or 8%. But this is how progressive. We don't win because our messages are immediately popular. Like, lay out where in history that ever happened, like, where we had the man and it immediately accomplished. It usually take work. It take communication. So having a massive floor vote and forcing it in that way, we can put pressure on more way. Like, so for example, AOC said, what if people lie about their vote on Medicare fraud? Okay. The argument that her and organizers make no sense because, like, bro, we should always be putting pressure on Democrats. So, okay, you vote yes on Medicare fraud, okay? Then let's say there's another vote for expanding Medicaid. You put pressure on them you vote for that one. How you just say you support Medicare fraud, but you don't support expanding Medicaid? Let's say there's someone who voted no for Medicare fraud on that vote, and then you have him. They have a primary challenger that's running to the left on Medicare fraud. So we'll get Barbara Lee or someone who voted yes for Medicare fraud, and we say, okay, since you vote yes on Medicare fraud, why don't you endorse the primary challenger person who said no? Like, you see how there's like a lot of different ways we could use that vote to put grassroots pressure. So the argument that it hurts grassroots organizers doesn't make sense at face value, right, RJ? Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see what the comments are saying. Like, sorry, like I get on my rants, I'll be missing the comments sometimes. Yeah, IMDb saying MLK was hated. We need some leftists that are not afraid to be hated. That's why Nina Turner is so exciting. That was more DG said. He said Nina Turner, Congresswoman. That sounds good, doesn't it? Like, cause she's not gonna be afraid to, based on what I've seen. I mean, you never know. God, I hope I don't jinx it, but we about to say, bro.
So one thing I will say is that Nina will upset the entire progressive power structure. I mean, Nina is bigger than the squad. I mean, let's be honest. Like, Nina has been the OG. Nina and Cori Bush have the same path coming up in the progressive movement. So Cori Bush coming in, she's already just as good as the squad, and maybe even better, but Nina even upsets that power structure. So having a person like Nina in Congress really weaponizing these progressives in this shape and pushing out potential progressive legislation, I think it's crucial, because, and that's probably why AOC probably hasn't endorsed yet, because I think even AOC is starting to realize, hey, you know, if Nina comes in and actually wins, you know, that's taking up my spot. So I think Nina will be great. I mean, It's good every now and then for progressives to start fighting a little bit, because instead of actually fighting for the progressive values we want, they'll do it selfishly to say, hey, I'm better than this progressive, but it works out for us anyway. So that's why I was happy seeing a lot of leftists going at it online and getting stuff done.
Jay Marie said the progressive leaders need to force a record vote for Medicare fraud, call out those with the data, the percentage of how the party constituents feel about it, and force an organized bully pulpit situation for those who don't support it. If India can do it with a quarter of their population, we can do it with our health and life. That's what I want. I think hopefully people are getting more ready to do more protesting because of the way the government is handling COVID right now. And Social Sienna, yeah, definitely. I need to send you the Discord link. I would love to have you on. You was one of my earliest supporters, so we can chat. I don't mind. Nina should OD Gaming said Nina should be the progressive leader instead of Mark Pocan, whoever the fuck he is. That was a solid point. I remember Jimmy made, like, when do you ever hear anyone talk about Mark Pocan? Like, I feel like the progressive, like, if you're a leadership on that caucus, you should be one of the most well-known people in politics. You should be constantly raising hell. Like, look how well-known Bernie Sanders is. That should be you if you're anywhere near the leadership of progressive. What does he do? What did he do? That's crazy. That's funny.
If you want to ask questions for me, I'll take some too.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
IMDb said the fact that there isn't a strike going on right now is just proof that apathy in this country is insane. The biggest problem with Americans is Americans are so fast to accept bad as the new normal. Like, shit get bad and they be like, fuck, I guess this is the way it is now. Damn. Fuck. I wish it wasn't like that. Like, I've always been a hothead, anti-authoritarian in a way. I always felt extremely pissed off whenever I feel like I was slighted in any way. I always been that way. I never was mean to teachers, but I would get mad at teachers when, like, my mom, like, I was lucky enough where I had good parents that could raise me in a way that they can speak to me like I'm actually a human being instead of like I'm trash. I don't have kids, but I'm like, people say they love their kids, but I hear some people talk to them kids. I'm like, do you love that girl or not? But anyway, my mom, my dad was really good with it. They always talk to me with a certain level of respect. With teachers, it's like they'll talk to me in a way I'm like, bro, my mom don't even talk to me that way. You think I'm gonna let you? I'm like, you think I'm gonna let you talk to me that way? My mom don't let you don't. And I would literally get mad. That's the only reason. My point. I'm digressing. My point being that I always hated any sort of slice, and that's what we get constantly as American people. Look at the way the transition is. Because I already got pulled up and I forgot to get to it. Let me pull this up. Oh man. Of course my OBS glitched for a second. From the COVID relief checks. And I'll pull it up on screen once OBS stops glitching here. It show companies from COVID related responsibilities. So it literally stops the Civil Rights Act 1964, the Fair Labor Standards Act in 1938. Like, they are using COVID-19 right now as a way to strip us of our workers' rights that we gotten over the last few decades. That's how bad it's got right now. Let me fix my OBS so it will get up so it will show. But have you seen that? Do you know what I'm talking about, RJ? Have you seen that? While I fix this?
It makes me sad.
Yeah. Give me 1 second, guys. I hate when it's glitches like this. 1 second. I lost it nowhere. Said that happened to me several times in school. Sometimes I had to let teachers. They were not speaking to me that way. Yeah, like I would literally just tell them, like, bro, my mom don't talk to me that way. What the fuck are you talking about? Damn.
And to get back to what you were saying about that bill, that's actually a bipartisan-led bill. Like, it's not what people always think. Oh, those evil asshole Republicans. There's some Democrats in that bill too that support it. It's bipartisan.
Yeah. Joe Manchin was the one of the big people that were propping up, right?
I mean, yeah, and earlier this year they already gutted some parts of the Voting Rights Act. So it's getting even worse. Like,
Yeah,
and there's no outrage to this. I don't hear any libs calling this out.
Oh man, come on! This thing is actually trying to fix my stream star here. Well, I'll set up on here. I know. Just 1 second, guys. There we go. There we go. So this is what I want to show you. I can put it up on my stream now. This is what they're busy passing right now. As you see, the first bullet point says, shield companies from all COVID-related retroactively for at least 1 year until pandemic is over, except in case of a gross negligence. Most coronavirus-related lawsuits will be forced to federal courts. That's when that's the Fair Labor Standards Act I was talking about earlier, the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Like, this last one is a doozy. Like, they'll fine anyone who's trying to sue companies, whether you're a consumer or a worker. You can be fined up to $50,000 for trying to sue from COVID. Like, this is literally insane. Like, this is literally a war that the corporate class is waging on us right now.
Your camera's off.
Yeah, let me fix it. I had the article up on my stream. There we go. Anyway, I had to share that because I saw that and I'm like, man, all right, I need to take a break on Twitter maybe, because I was like, man, this is. I would look at it and get banned because I posted Death to America and people were like, oh, dude, you better take it down because you should get banned for that. But fuck this. Like, this literally, this is a corporate heist on a level I haven't never seen before personally. Like they literally rolling back the Civil Rights Act in 1964.
What it
But
does,
meanwhile, we can't even get a $1,200 relief check.
I mean, what it
crazy.
lets you know is that the Republican Party has always been the same, but it just really shows to the degradation of the progressive Democratic Party. You know, the reason why we had these progressive changes is that there's a thing called ambition meets ambition. You know, if both parties are going for power, then you make those compromises. But the problem is the Democrats are so weak, and they allow the Republicans to get away with anything. So even now, repealing this act, which is helping minority groups getting able to vote and also have equal rights protection under the law, now that's even on the table we're getting rid of. So that's the problem.
That's a good question. Why is $1,200 the magic number? It should be, and like forgive what she said, it should be 2,000. Like it should be 3,000. It should be 3,000. You know why? We covered a story. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see if I have it saved. Where it's like if you just take all the money that billionaires just made, not taking their money, the money they made since the start of this COVID crisis, that alone was fund at least $3,000 for each American. And they're still the one getting bailed out. They bailing out defense contractors right now. They in the midst of doing that right now. They already bailed out the medical insurance companies who been making record profits year after year. They still making money. So it should be at least $3,000 a month. Because fuck it, why not?
It's sad too that our only hope right now are two senators, one Republican Josh Hawley and the other Bernie Sanders. Two senators out of 98 out of 100 are for $1,200 stimulus checks, $2,400 for joint filing, and $500 for a child. Like, it's ridiculous. You would think in the United States, the richest country in the world, we would have a much better time of helping our people, and it's just sad.
Yeah, I'm not taking the bait either, Josh Hawley. I'm not gonna praise you. He's still fascist. Like, I'm not gonna get mad at you for. I'm not gonna praise you for doing the bare minimum. People were like, man, you're an asshole. No, fuck him.
My problem.
Fuck him.
My problem is though is no one else is doing it. So I'm all about giving praise when praise is due. So if he's
I respect that position too. I respect that position, but I'm like, fuck that guy. You doing what you should be doing. At least he can use that to because we need conservatives to get the Republican Party right. Because I attacked the Republican Party for being hypocrites all the time from their principles. I talk about it all the time. When I talk about my principles as a libertarian leftist, all the issues that I have with the right wingers pretend they are all that stuff, but they're not actually for working class families being bailed out. So they always see people attacking Josh Hawley on the right. They say he's a socialist Republican. It's like, you're a socialist Republican too. You guys constantly give Wall Street bailouts, corporate bailouts, defense contractor bailouts, government and like, there was literally just a story. Like, you got these super right wingers who believe in small government and they hate socialism so much. But meanwhile, the churches, the right wing mega churches, are taking bailout money. Yeah, I got the story right here. Check this. These are the people that are supposed to be against Republicans. His name is I hate that name. Joel, something like that.
Joel Osteen.
Yeah, Joel Osteen. He was running this mega church.
He shut it down during the floods in the South. Remember they had that big flood and he shut his building down too. So what'd you expect?
This is how his tax-exempt mega church literally got $4 million in COVID-19 funds, and they pay no taxes.
But they getting tax money.
They getting tax money though. Once again, like, I got no problem with people with religion, but we're supposed to keep the shit out of government, right? Like, this is literally what we're supposed to be. Like, and I need to give them corporate bailout money when they ain't paying no taxes. This is a scam. And once again, my point is, people will pretend they're anti-socialist, but they're not. So if you're gonna be a hypocrite like that, you might well be a hypocrite towards the working class. So if I was Josh Hawley, I'd be like, man, I'm doing the same thing you guys doing, but I'm doing for that. Actually, he actually is using that line of attack. But I'm not gonna praise him for doing what I think should be. Everyone should be working on this right now. Everyone should be working on this right now.
Yeah, the problem is 2 out of 98, 2 out of 100 are doing it. So I'm at least giving him. See, I'm
not mad if you give him credit, but I'm like, fuck him. I get it though.
I know, but the thing is, like, for once, Bernie is not dying on a vine by himself. That's why I'm
that's
happy.
a good point. That's a good point.
You need a partner with you, because it makes Bernie seem less crazy. See, when Bernie is with a Republican that agrees on the same thing, oh, wow, they must be principled. They're bipartisan, coming together. Wow. When it's Bernie by himself, oh, fuck you, Bernie. You're just some radical left socialist crazy numbnut. So that's why I'm happy.
Yeah, see, that kind of my feeling on Ron Paul, too, because people give Ron Paul credit for having good anti-war stances, but I'm like, all right, you're on the common sense position. I ain't about to praise you. I tell you, I guess I'm an asshole. I'm admit I'm an asshole on that position. Because I'm like, all right, I guess I should praise him for being right on this, but fuck Ron Paul. He hates poor people, and he kind of racist, based on what I heard. But he's good. I guess he's good on that one. I guess he's good on a few issues, though. Right?
But to be honest, I would rather fight against a guy like Josh Hawley than an establishment Republican. And the reason why is because they're actually significantly farther to the left than those establishment Republicans. And they're also more susceptible and they're more politically savvy than those establishment Republicans in regard to responding to public pressure, understanding what people feel. And you also are able to broker deals with them. Like, if you go to an establishment Republican like Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy, they'll just give you the finger and say go somewhere else. But at least Josh Hawley is able to pretend or at least entertain the idea of a stimulus check, and that's something I can work with.
Yeah, that's a good point. I had no stock in the Republican primaries anyway, but I'd rather Josh. I guess like if Josh Hawley has a Republican primary challenge, I guess I'm gonna be backing Josh Hawley. I already know liberals will get mad at me for saying that. Socialist MMA is a Josh Hawley Democrat. Because it's like, bro, if there's a Republican primary, I'm hella backing Josh Hawley most likely. Because I'm like, I'd rather have him and then back to the whoever wins the Democrat race, right?
I'd rather have Josh Hawley than Tom Cotton. Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm in Missouri, so I might have to pay attention to this. So if in 2022 or whenever the next time, I don't know when the next Senate race is. Next time he's in Republican primary, I'm gonna look up his opponent. If his opponent is a fascist, like a hardcore fascist, but he's not like for like COVID checks, I'm gonna vote for Josh Hawley just for the primary, just so I don't have to worry about the fascists. Actually, that may be too much.
You're actually right.
Wouldn't that be the best thing to do? Like, I'd rather because I'm in the open primary state, so I can vote for whatever the fuck I want. I can vote for.
I think that strategy is actually correct. I mean, that's what suburbanites do. They vote for the Republican.
That hurt to say, though. I ain't gonna lie. Someone's gonna clip that. I'm gonna deserve it.
No.
That hurt to say.
I agree. Even if someone's to the right, you vote for the right winger that's farther to the left. If you're in a red state and have no choice, especially in an open primary. Now, in the general, that's a different talking point. But for a primary, if it's two right wingers, vote for the one that's farther to the left. So I mean, your strategy is okay. So
like, if you like, imagine if you can push the Republican Party to the left that way, we actually had a lot of leftists that would vote for Republican primary. Like if there was a Republican that like, yeah, actually for Medicare for all because fiscally conservative, and then a lot of leftists vote for him in this primary, and then like a lot of Republicans start doing that. Like anything that works, right? Anything that works. This article. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't care about the parties. I mean, F the parties. Yeah. I want the policies enacted. That's what makes me and a lot of other leftists different from these fakers. I mean, I hate party loyalists. It makes me want to punch you in the face.
Yeah, made my skin crawl. Seven shared this. I haven't checked the story out, but I love when people send me stuff. Like Aaron Montes tweeted this out literally 10 minutes ago. I guess I'm gonna retweet it. I ain't read it yet, but let's go through it on stream. They said AOC is asked twice by Jeremy about pardons, but her answers are unclear to me. Seems to support it for Snowden, but on Assange has considerations and concerns. I would love to hear what she said about what consideration and concerns means. Like, because when I hear a lot of people talk about Assange, they bring up stuff that literally had nothing what he had to do with he being charged on. Like, the Assange thing is 100% First Amendment thing, guys. Like if he him hacking DNC's servers has literally nothing what we talking about. We talking about him exposing war crimes. So I'm like, I'm not saying she talking about that, but I'm like, when people say consideration and concerns, like, what are we talking about? Okay. Anyway, then says, let's dive into the article because that's the tweet. Let's see what he thinks is unclear. I said I love when people share these. Keep them coming. Like, I haven't checked any like breaking news today, so if y'all see anything that worth checking out, hit me up. But being wrong on Assange is, ooh, you better have a very, very, very good explanation for what you about to say right now. Anyway, while we wait for that load, because that takes for a while, my computer is stressed. My boy Awkward, I work with him a lot on 10 Demands. He's a beast when it comes to police abolition. He says stimulus is an oxymoron. We need survival checks. That's a really good way to phrase it. I like that phrasing, survival checks, because that's really what it is. If we don't get these checks passed, that's a death sentence for people. All right, so we got the internet article. Let me close this now. So let's see what AOC actually says on this. So OD Gaming said there's nothing but report on that story. So it's just like a lot of speculation. I want to see if I can actually see what she says, because that's the most important thing. Like, when you look at articles like these, like when you read like there's a lot of good background information, but actually look at what they say, because people like the internet not too bad. I know they had their beef with Glenn Greenwald, but they usually do pretty decent report for the most part. But for example, like the article I read on Newsweek, where they really phrased the article as, this is just one example why you gotta look for this. They say defund the police. Polling shows why defund the police is awful. This is why you shouldn't run on it. And they're like, yeah, look at the numbers here. Out of all the voters, 35% of them oppose it. I'm like, what? That's not bad. Like, look at all the other issues. Like, seriously, look at almost every other issue. That's like almost the same. And they talking about like, will this affect how you will vote for Democrat? Only 35% opposed. What they don't tell you in that article is that's all voters. So they include Republican voters. So 35%, when you include Republicans, that's not a bad number. Like, across all, if you look across all issues, that's not the case. And what the article also don't tell you is that disapproval was 53% in the summer. So we actually gained ground. My point being, you can't just automatically go with wherever like the article trying to get the thing you frame at. Anyway, let's dive back into this article here. So this is where I'm trying to see where the concern is at. Oh no, so it's a podcast. Oh, that's why. I think that was the chat was trying to say. I see now. I see what the chat trying to say now. It was pretty much audio. So let's see. I want to see Aaron see if he clarifies this even more. But yeah, you got to be very, very specific. I think that's what he's mostly concerned about. That she's not very specific on her charge on Assange. You have to be, because what's the leftist argument against Assange? Because everything that liberals use against Assange has always been disproven. Like, one of the most number one talking points they say that Assange, by exposing the war criminals that he exposed, he actually jeopardized U.S. soldiers' lives. But there have been reported follow up on that. There's never been like proven. It's like never been a proven link. It's like a intelligence community talking point, just like the Russian bounties. Like the Russian bounties, that story started because the intelligence people like crafted it. So they floated, and then they're like, okay, find evidence, and never find evidence. That's how it was when they say Julian Assange cost people their lives. And then if you want to talk about, Julian Assange had a rape case, okay, the court dismissed that. But even if you don't want to accept that, once again, that has nothing to do with this case. And by having Assange been prosecuted by the government by publishing war crimes, you literally setting a dangerous precedent. Now, Trump is already trying to roll back journalistic freedoms because they roll back government agencies will have their ability to report on civilian deaths on drone strikes. So we already seeing like a massive crackdown on information when it comes to fighting against our imperialist regime change foreign policy nation. We are seeing big tech teaming up with YouTube, Facebook to take down anti-war pages and channels, because when Facebook announced it, they was going to start taking down pages full of misinformation. One of the first things they aimed at was anti-war pages on Facebook. So we can't allow them to have this court precedent on top of everything else they're already doing as it is right now. So when AOC, that my point being, when AOC say questions or concerns, what exactly are you referring to? Because I'm trying to remember her name on Twitter. What was that, RJ?
I can actually clear it up for you. So
go ahead.
Basically, the squad and a lot of these progressives, they kowtow the establishment position on this. So, and I know what you're asking. What's the establishment position, RJ? Who created it? Well, it's Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, a lot of these establishment high-ranking officials who are involved in the massive foreign policy failures of Afghanistan, Syria, Yemen, Venezuela as well. That includes Donald Trump now. They create this conspiracy theory about how Julian Assange exposing America's war crimes, he's actually the criminal when it's Julian Assange who's exposing them. And for the problem is progressives are kowtowing that same position. They're not doing their own independent research, and they're not being strong enough to combat it. And I feel like a lot of progressives are too honed in on domestic policy and leaving a gaping hole for the establishment to come in and say, hey, we'll figure this foreign policy figure out. You don't have to touch it. So that's the problem.
And my point I've been making for a long time that is there needs to be a post Bernie Sanders left. Like Bernie Sanders brought a lot of great issues to the forefront, and he built this movement that has been amazing in terms of dragging the country to the left, creating new grassroots leftist movements. But now now that Bernie Sanders lost twice, we got to think about what we got to do after Bernie. And Bernie can still have his role in the Senate as being he continue to step up if you want to do that. But now I got to think about what the next step after that going to be. I think the next step after that, we got to be hard on civil liberties as something that's non-negotiable. Like the same way that Medicare for all is non-negotiable, civil liberties got to be non-negotiable. Go ahead, RJ.
Actually, I can add on to this because this morning, Republican Matt Gaetz, you have Ro Khanna, you also have Tulsi Gabbard. They're creating this bipartisan.
Yeah, I saw that Tulsi
to repeal the Patriot Act. So I think that's a good first step. And so actually, Tulsi's doing this to save a reputation for some pretty shitty bills.
Tulsi keep going back between authoritarian and anti-authoritarian, left and right. Yeah. You either anti-authoritarian or you're not. So good job, Tulsi, but you still crafted a shitty authoritarian bill. No matter what your stance on that is, and people criticize me from the left on that. They're like, "Oh, that's silence and violence." Like, no, okay. So there's people you're not gonna win over in that debate because there are people that they're gonna say, no matter what you say, they believe that trans women should not compete with women. Okay, let's ignore that part. So people get mad at me when I say that because they're like, silence. I get it. I understand. I accept that criticism. But another way you guys should attack this is authoritarianism. The government should not be deciding this. This should be up to the athletes. So the libertarian in the left position on this issue always been, you should disclose, and you should and it should be left up to the fighters. Like if you're a fighter and you want to fight against, Fallon Fox was the person who originated this conversation. Because a lot of people talking about this issue, they don't know where it started from. And someone who knows as a martial artist, I know this. It started from Fallon Fox. So like if you want to fight Fallon Fox, and you know that she's a trans woman, why should the government get in the way for stopping that from happening? Why should the government get in the way? So it should be left to sport league. Once again, people criticize me from the left on that because they're like, all right, no one should be able to discriminate against them. I'm like, okay, yeah, I agree with you on that. No one should be able to discriminate on that. So, for one, let's stop the government from doing that. And then if the individual sports leagues want to do that, then we put pressure on them to stop them from doing that. That's the libertarian approach to this issue. So that's all. That's me going off on a whole nother tangent. I didn't want to talk about that because, like, Tulsi, I give her props for her stand up on the Patriot Act on this, but I already seeing the effects of her coming out on this turf shit because we already seeing a lot of Tulsi people getting dragged to the right. Like there was a lot of Tulsi people that was being anti-Black Lives Matter. Like there's a lot of libertarian Tulsi supporters, but now we're seeing a rise of transphobia because of this bill. And my stance is at the end of the day, that's an authoritarian trash bill, no matter where you stand at, because the government shouldn't tell. That should be up to the leagues. Like NCAA, you guys know that NCAA already got a policy on this. NCAA is already supportive of trans athletes. So if you pass this bill, sorry, RJ, you get right to this. If you pass this bill, you literally stomping on the NCAA's own policy. That's government overreach, isn't it? Go ahead, bro.
And what I was going to say is that not everyone is to the left on every issue. And so there's even a lot of leftists. Well, Tulsi, her problem is she picked the right wing. She picked the wrong time to be right wing on the wrong issue.
Yeah.
But if you look at Bernie Sanders, he's left wing, but he's pretty right. He's more to the right on gun control than Joe Biden. So you're not going to be left on every issue. But like that's why I'm saying I'm an issue by issue person. If you're a leftist and you're on the left, if you want to get someone to bring to your issue, you're going to find a right wing Republican
that's how I do.
that's actually going to be to the left, and you can come together. So that's kind of my point. Like I understand the Tulsi bashing because she's dumb. She picked the right wing view for the wrong policy position. But I'm just issue by issue. I just don't have time to like bash everyone for being right wing on some issue. I just believe talking to people is the best thing to do and be issue by issue.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's exactly how I think politics should be done. But look, check this out. Since on the topic of Assange, I got pulled up on stream. So the questions and concerns thing with AOC that Aaron Monte is talking about. This is what people are dragging AOC on for saying that now. Because there's no question and concerns about this. Like, this is a civil rights issue. I'll read out because I know you can't see RJ. It says Assange partner decries atrocious prison conditions and appeal for Australian intervention. And I've been reading stories like these for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like Assange has been going through hell. So if you're not supportive of this, what? Like there's literally you are literally sponsoring this massive overreach of government power, and let's go ahead. I know I'm thinking about say something, RJ. Let me dive in this. Let's see if we can give you any specifics from the article. But go ahead, RJ.
Oh yeah, I heard about this article a couple days ago. So apparently,
it's on Common Dreams, yeah.
Yeah, so apparently, like the windows, they aren't really like sealed correctly, so they have to put books on them, but they're still cold. And like he has a blanket, but it's not thick enough to keep him warm at night, so he's literally shivering and freezing the whole time.
Yikes. And
that's not really healthy. So torture isn't new by the establishment towards him. So like I know it shouldn't like. So it's hard. Like we need to do better as a country to fight back against these authoritarian regimes. So that's kind of the situation.
There's a video here. It's about 24 minutes. This is but yeah, that's good breakdown. So like, this is why we need massive less solidarity in terms of this issue. Because once again, you got the direct First Amendment issues that come along with the story, and then you got the massive, you got the grotesque living conditions that Assange is in. But man, once again, this is something that AOC we're gonna have to keep getting pushed on, because this has been a criticism I had of AOC for a very long time, not just now. Like she always been solid on this issue. It's something that once again Tulsi had an advantage on this issue because she was open about this. But once again, the new left should be taking all the positives from anyone that you perceive as being left wing. Let's take all the positives from Bernie Sanders with his domestic issues, coalition building, fierce advocacy of working class policies, Medicare for all, and all that stuff. Then you take positive Tulsi being strong against regime change and being unapologetically calling out the establishment people. Sometimes she didn't call out Joe Biden the way I wish she would have. But then you take Andrew Yang, I'll take the UBI, make a progressive version of UBI. legalize all drugs. I'm a proponent of legalizing all drugs because once again, Portugal is a country that's showing to be effective, and plus, once again, prohibition is not effective government policy to implement. Once again, as libertarian stuff, so you gotta justify to me why we should do something. And when you have all the crimes on the books as being illegal, you're not decreasing drug overdose use by doing that. Like, so once again, rambling on, but once again, take all the good part. Take the good stuff from Marianne Wilson. Marianne Wilson was amazing on reparations. Take that and apply that to your platform. I think that's the new left. And then once we get this new progressive squad, we get a new campaign running. We get new progressive leaders in, and they present new ideas. Now we take the best of their ideas. We continue to morph and evolve as a movement. So, and that's another issue with people who just stand people instead of ideas. Because if you stand the ideas instead of the people, you allow the people to keep you further around over the window you would be otherwise. Because, for example, on this issue of having Medicare for all for a floor vote, I see people arguing against doing that just because they're trying to protect AOC and her feelings. There's people who they went right wing on fracking because they wanted to protect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. It literally was shown before the debates where Joe Biden and Kamala Harris publicly went out against fracking. The support among the Democratic Party for banning fracking was around 65%. And then after the election, after the debate where Joe Biden publicly opposed banning fracking, and then Kamala Harris made a big thing in her debate with Mike Pence, and she tweeted about it. The support dipped to like 40%. So it was like a 20-point jump. So that's the effect that politicians can have on people. Once again, another reason why I was an advocate of supporting Democrat. You move the country to the right by doing that. We see that with opinion polls all the time. Phil and Burns said decriminalize all drugs. Yep, I'm for legalizing all of them. I go farther left on that issue because once again, if Portugal legalized all drugs and shit went south, I'm like, all right, that's an example. All right, that shows that we shouldn't be doing this. But if you look at the opioid crisis, drug overdose, in our current status quo, the current status quo is the argument for progressive policies. People get twisted, and I literally saw this argument used again. I wish I remember how I read it, but I saw liberals making this argument. They said, the crime. They were like, the crime rate in some cities actually spiked. Okay, so that's evidence that we should be looking at for different solutions to solving the crime rate and doing the same thing you got to be doing before, right? Same principle applies. He said, Megan said, I don't give a shit about LC's feelings. And thing is, like, people assume that I hate LC is because I was vocally disagreeing with her on this issue. That's all you can call it. Because I wasn't even trashing her. And I was
that's not the reason.
Because there were some tweets. What was the reason, RJ?
The reason is because you agreed with Dore. That's the reason.
Yeah, that is the real reason.
Anyone who agrees with Dore, you're fucking canceled, basically.
And my thing is, shouldn't AOC at least talk to the person who started this idea? I was like, why doesn't AOC respond to Jeremy Dore? Because I was like, bro, I'm not saying that she should give him attention all the time. Started the dialogue. Shouldn't you at least say something? Like I said, people got like the anti Jimmy Dore crowd went off. I saw the quote number. I was like, damn. I'm like, shit. But yeah, that's exactly what it was. People just don't like Dore. But my thing is like, bro, it had nothing to do with the personalities to me. I don't give a damn. And people say I hate LC. I seen people go way harder on LC than I did. I was just disagreeing with her on the substance. Like, believe it or not, like I find AOC to be very charming. I find her to be a very likable person. I like AOC. She's like, say you want to have fun time hanging out with AOC. She seems dope, but she's wrong. She's wrong on this issue. It's really that simple. And the amount of AOC supporters that were implicating that I was some sort of AOC hater That's why we was joking about it. I was like, it's like the A hive. It's like a new
Yeah, and
level of K hive, the lefty K hive.
what worries me is that now there's a separation between the AOC stands and the Bernie stands. And I've heard a lot of AOC stands say to Bernie people, "Oh, you guys should be fucking lucky. You should be begging AOC because AOC didn't have to endorse Bernie after the heart attack. So,
I
so you
seen
should be
that.
praised."
I
So I
seen
was
that.
like, "Wait, what? I thought we were all under the same umbrella. I thought we were all in this together. Like, really? Like, this is what we're doing now?"
See, that's the positive argument to be made on AOC's electability though, because AOC. I mean, if we're gonna be a smart left, because I have seen people say stuff like, I wouldn't support AOC should president. All right, cause unless we got Nia Turner running in there, relax. like really, you gonna let a neoliberal beat AOC? See, once again, that's going too far for me. Unless there's someone
me
too
personally-
significantly to her left, like yeah, support AOC. But but we're not gonna put her in a position where she above criticism.
I mean, me personally, I would vote for AOC for president because I don't believe not only is she not experienced, but two, she's not that politically savvy, so
That's a
she
good point.
can easily be co-opted. That's why I'm not voting for her already, even though she hasn't even declared the run yet. You need someone who's tough, politically savvy, and can play those maneuvers. And to me, she's just too much of an incremental institutionalist. And that's why
I'll vote for her over Pete Buttigieg, Kamala Harris any day. Mostly because
Yeah,
at least we
of
can push her left. But my position, I don't think she should. I don't think she should do that. I don't think she should even like people already pushing her in the run for 2024. I don't think she should run in 2024 because she's already have her voice in Congress, and I think she should take a Senate seat before she decides to take presidential seat. Just because she's in a very unique position.
to me, if she really has balls, she needs to primary Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, she should primary Chuck Schumer, and if she can't beat Chuck Schumer, then maybe that's just a sign that she shouldn't be be the president. And just like Seven said she is bad on foreign policy. Well,
Exactly.
yeah, that's another good argument to make against her for president. But once again, I still support her over neoliberal because I think we have once again, I don't buy the argument that we can push Biden to the left. Like, I think that's a bullshit argument. But I do think we can put AOC to the left though. So
I don't know. I don't know because she's been on Twitter lately accusing us.
And
of
I
our-
accept your point though. I accept your point. What I'm saying comes out of worst case scenario. Like if our preferred candidate lost and it was Pete Buttigieg AOC, like damn, okay, I had to vote for AOC. But I'm not like pushing her. Like I see Feeling for the Burn put a question. He said AOC for speaker ? Yeah, maybe, but I'll prefer other people over her. I prefer having someone like Nia Turner and Cory Bush as speaker over her any day of the week, right?
Yeah, but let's raise our bar. First.
I hear
Like,
you.
Like, don't let them know our game plan. Okay, the establishment
I hear
didn't
you,
come out
bro.
and say. The establishment didn't come out and say, "Oh, at the very last second, we'll pick Joe Biden at the very last second." No, they never said that. They said we didn't even want Joe Biden. They pretended they didn't want him, but at the very last second, they picked him. That's what we should do for AOC. Okay, go as far as left we can, and then compromise at the very end for AOC. That's what I'm for. And so if AOC can't go against Chuck Schumer, then at the very least go against Kirsten Gillibrand. Okay, she's nothing special. And she's in 2024, so at the very least, just go for her.
And I'm saying it's all about strategy, right? Because that go back to what we talked about earlier. Because I'm like, even if you're gonna vote for John Ossoff, I wouldn't act like I like you. Like, what benefit do we get on a progressive with you guys pretending that we like John Ossoff? If I was voting for John Ossoff when I was in Georgia, I'd be shit on him all the time, and then I would just vote for him. I probably wouldn't even tell nobody. I'm like, nah,
John Ossoff.
I'll be like, fuck John Ossoff. We support Medicare for all. I'll probably vote for him, and then I'll vote for him. What benefit do we get? I said it on my show a few weeks ago when I was talking about people who like progressives, like, yeah, I'm voting for Joe Biden. I'm voting for like, what benefit? Why are you telling people? Like, even if I believed that I should vote for Joe Biden over Donald Trump, I'll take that shit to my grave. I'll take that. I'm like, nice. I still push him. I still call him out shill, but I'm not gonna give him free press.
Ossoff has such a punchable face. I swear, like he's basically the straight Mayor Pete. Like that's basically it. Like nothing special.
What the poll say in that race? I'm asking. Hey, chat. What the poll say? Because I actually don't know, but it's a long shot, isn't it? Like, what if he won? What if he won?
Actually, actually, even in some of the credible polls, the race is tightened with a 1% lead by Republicans by both of them. So
Woo, shit.
yeah, because like I said, basic
Let me.
Democrat.
I'm
is
gonna look
no
up to see if
more-
I can find polling. Let's go through it because I went through most of my stories today. At this point, we usually just pull some stories. Let's see if we can find something live we can talk about. We about an hour and a half in. I usually try to keep these around 2 hours, but it depends on if we find any other story to discuss. That's it. Like if you're in the chat, you enjoying this, please follow, subscribe. Any stories that you guys want to see us cover, post it in the chat. I'd love to pull them up, see what we can discuss as well. But let's see. I want to type in Georgia Senate race. See what we get any polling out of that.
Okay. Also, I heard too there was something that was significant. So remember the scenario by moderate Republicans, right? Okay, we're gonna stick with our We're gonna some of them flipped to Democrats, and some of them stayed Republicans down ballot, but they voted for Joe Biden, right? So the new dilemma now is that they're saying, "Holy shit, we don't know about Joe Biden completely because now he's capitulating to the left, like they're air quotes." So now I heard a lot of moderate Republicans are actually voting Republican now. So they voted Democrat on election night, but now they're thinking about voting Republican now. So that's why the race seems a little bit tighter than it did before. Because in runoffs, everybody gets to vote again.
I saw a story that there were a lot of MAGA people saying they rage quitting. They rage quitting the GOP because Mitch McConnell said he acknowledged Joe Biden as the president today. So people was like, "Yeah, fuck the GOP." Fine, dude. That'd be a fucking hilarious death. Yeah, I just saw the story that he put in the chat here. Thank you, Seven. The problem is Washington Post is assholes. I can't read the article. It just said a new poll is a warning sign for the GOP in Georgia. That came out yesterday. We are locked behind a pay wall though. OD Gaming said, "Do you think YouTubers and Twitch streamers need to unionize with all the BS and the DMCA censorship?" That's kind of what I was talking about earlier. Like this is part of the greater overall problem. With them censoring anti-establishment voices, like I need to look at more into that specific censorship you're talking about now, but the way our corporate fascist state right now operates, I don't see a path for victory for content creators against YouTubers and Twitch. So this is what always drives me crazy about politics. This drives me crazy. What's up, Rocky Flame? Better late than never. Just playing. Welcome, bro. This drive me crazy about policy. People will be like, "Why you got the radical policy beliefs that you have? You are such a radical." I'm a radical based on the life experiences that I have and what I'm seeing going on with our society. So when I say I want to break tech, when I say I want to break up YouTube and all these big, giant multimedia platforms, it's because the experience that I'm dealing with as a platform a creator where they prioritize legacy media over my stuff, and that's a problem that a lot of lefty media has. That's the reason why Patreon even needs to be formed, because YouTube and content hosters always drip out content creators. I mean, that's the only reason why Patreon even exists in the first place. So this is a widespread problem that even people on the right agree with. Like, they're right-wing content creators that are like, "Yeah, look at this censorship going on YouTube and Facebook." And I'm like, okay, what should we do about it? I don't know. Less government. The problem still be there, because that means the government be able to do whatever they want. So it's like, okay, so my thing is break them the hell up, create competition, or this is the situation I favor the most: make it all public utility, so we can have it regulated as a government body. Like, these are all solutions you can have to solve the greater overall problem. So while people focus, I'll let you go. I think you had a thought, RJ. I'll let you go right to this. So the problem that people have initially is the censorship. Once again, that's just one aspect of the larger problem of the amount of influence that big tech and the oligarchs have over discourse. So if you're not moving left on that issue and you're complaining about the issue, I can't help but think you're just a whiner. Like, whenever I hear right wingers like, "I've been censored," all this blah blah blah, all this stuff, I feel like you just sound like you're bullshitting to me because you don't support what actually fix the issue, right, RJ?
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I'm gonna add another layer to this.
Go
So
ahead.
In fact, Republicans are actually more against these media and tech conglomerates than the Democrats are. Their merits aren't clear, nor are they true, but they are. Like like you said, Republicans say, "Oh, I'm censored," or like they're against conservative propaganda, so we're going to strip all these tech companies from censoring people without liability and consequences. Okay, we're for that as progressives in the first place, but the Republicans are for it, but their merit is bad. Okay, but getting rid of it still helps anyway. So I feel like a lot of even people, even that are liberals, progressives, leftists, they're against conservatives doing that because they disagree with their merits. Okay, but they don't disagree in terms of the actual policy. So what you're doing is you're preventing change by doing that.
Look at the story that the guy just saying. Sorry, I switched gears. Someone sent. Let's see. Sorry, I forgot. I lost the comments. I forgot who sent it. Feeling the burn. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, feeling the burn. Super average person. You brought a good point. The same people that complain about the censorship, they are dead quiet when happened to the left. They never ever have our back on this issue. So I'm tired of the left wingers like holding water for Alex Jones. Yeah, you can stand on him on principle, stand just fucking rushing to his defense, because they don't do that for us. Once again, I guess I'm asked on this issue, on that issue in particular. But look, this story. It said air pollution the cause of a UK girl's death. Jesus. Let me see if I can get this thing pulled up. Man, the thing. Go ahead, homie.
What I was saying is that I think what we in the left we keep forgetting is you're never going to get a clear path unless there's a national tragedy or a president dies. Like the reason why civil rights got pushed through is because Kennedy got assassinated, so he used that political energy to pass civil rights legislation. Okay, FDR, how he passed the New Deal was we were in a Great Depression, people were desperate, they say anything is better than nothing, let's throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. So he passed a lot of stuff. So we as leftists need to realize in America and use American history to realize that, hey, anytime progressive legislation happened, it wasn't because of some great political tactic that was clear-cut runway. We actually have to use national tragedies to our advantage.